Hello there, my stamping friends. It's Jackie Bolhuis from Klompen Stampers. I have a lot of tips to share with you today. The main one is, where do you get stamping ideas? You know, I get asked that all the time. And recently, I don't know, last month or so, I had asked my demonstrator team, what are some of your questions? How can I most help you? And I was shocked that the overwhelming response was, we don't know where to get stamping ideas. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's the hardest thing about being a demonstrator? Well, I've got the easiest solution for that. So what I'm going to share with you today is one of the big tips that I shared with them as far as getting stamping ideas. Because I'm sure if my demonstrators feel that way, you feel that way as well. And as I show you, I'm also going to stamp two fun cards with you. And we're going to use kind of an unlikely pairing of two stamp sets. These will be great cards, especially for kids. They'd be good for anyone. But you know, sometimes kids' cards are ones we struggle with, just like masculine cards. So I guess these would be masculine cards as well, if that's what you wanted to make. But it's really about the tips of finding ideas and then how to look at stamp sets a little bit differently to use them. So are you ready? Well, before I dive in, just a quick reminder that down in the video description, you will find a link to my blog post that goes with this video. And over there, I will share pictures of both cards I'm making for you today, as well as the list of all the supplies, all the colors, all the products I use, and most importantly, all the measurements. So if you'd like to make these cards either with the same set or just use my layout idea, you can get the measurements over there. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you would like to order any of these products, I would love to be your demonstrator. That link will take you over to the blog as well. And once you're over there as well, you can find the link to shop the online store. Or if you have questions about these products that I'm using or any of my projects, make sure to reach out to me. I am a full-time Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I love helping you learn to make tons of quick and easy cards, and most importantly, mail them off to friends. Bless people with happy mail in their mailbox. Okay, I have a lot to share, so I gotta quit chit-chatting and get to work. So let's flip the camera down and let's get stamping. So I mentioned I was using an unlikely pairing of two different stamp sets, and the ones I'm using are artistically inked and well done. And I'm sure you look at these two and go, wait a minute, how are you going to put those stamp sets together? Well, you know, I used to be really stuck on one stamp set. Use this one and only the stuff that comes in it. But more and more, I've been trying to look at all my different stamp sets and see how I can combine different stamps. Well, what we're going to take is this stamp that I think when I use the set, I call it a blob because I don't know what else to call it. I mean, it's a blob, but I want to show how you can use this to make a great background for our well done stamp set. So that's the only piece we're using. And then we're going to use a whole bunch of these different pieces to put together two fun cards. So let's set that aside. We'll set that aside too. And now I want to show you the little tip that I shared with my demonstrator team at our team meeting a while back. Remember I said at the beginning, it seems like the biggest question demonstrators seem to have was, where do you get stamping ideas? Well, one of the places I get stamping ideas all the time is from the Stampin' Up! Catalog. Now, I know if you're watching this video, you know, relatively current, you're looking at that catalog thinking, I've lost my mind because this is an old catalog. You're right, it's old. But how many of you save your old catalogs? I know that most of you do, because once in a while people will contact me and say, do you have any old ones? Well, a dimensional's right in there. Oops, sorry, sidetrack. But I know people save them. I save mine. They're more than a catalog. They're an idea book. You know, if you go buy a magazine out there, I think they still make stamping magazines. You know, they'll have lots of stamping ideas in them, but I think our Stampin' Up! Catalog has way more ideas. So I like to just, every once in a while, I'm sitting around watching TV, I'll grab an old catalog, I'll thumb through it, and I'll mark some pages that I think are great ideas to copy. And that's what I did with our Well Done stamp set. you'll see here are some really cute cards. Now I don't know, they look like they're 3 by 3. Yep, that's what it says there. And I really didn't want to make 3 by 3. I want to make regular size cards, but I looked at these for the layout. I'm like, perfect, I can do that. Now there was another little problem here. When this first came out, it was a suite, so it had really super cute designer series paper that went with it. And you'll see the background of all of those cards is that designer series paper. Well, I don't have any of that anymore. I only have the stamp set. So we're going to kind of recreate these ideas using other products. So let's set this aside and bring in our grid paper here so we can have a little scrap paper underneath. And we're going to stamp the front of, well, kind of the main focal point of a couple of cards. And then we'll stamp our backgrounds and we'll put the whole thing, both cards together at the same time. So we're starting with a piece of basic white, and I have balmy blue, perfect blue color for our little, I don't want to say whale, sea, under the sea scenes. And here's our blob. And when I ink this up, I'm actually going to stamp it on my scrap paper 2 times to make it lighter, and then onto my basic white. And notice that I'm just turning this around, spinning it so it goes in different directions. That makes our blob, look random and different, not like a perfect pattern. So there's our background on that piece. So while we're doing that, let's grab our other one. This piece is a little bit bigger. Don't remember these measurements. I think they're 3 1/4 by 4 1/2, but don't hold me to that. Check that blog post, it'll have it. But notice how I'm just working on covering the whole thing. And each time, twice on scrap paper, just to lighten that color. So there is our background. Now, real quickly, if we go back to our samples here, you'll see this designer series paper kind of had that watercolory under the sea background. So that's what I created with that stamp. Okay, then let's start on this one, and we're going to just use the underwater grass or seaweed, whatever you want to call this. And I'm going to stamp it, a few different times down here at the bottom, just to get some different looks. What's nice about this is you can flip it over as well and kind of get some different ones. Looks like I like to always stamp off on scrap paper and get a few in there so we get some varied tones. We'll do the same thing on this one. So let's do 1 and 2, flip it. Let's use the other end. This one, we don't have quite as much room on this one, so we have to, let's see. There we go. That's good enough on that one. Now, let's grab some scrap paper. So you see, we're doing 2 cards that are going to be relatively the same. We're just stamping some different pieces. So this is scrap, and we will use Misty Moonlight for our blue, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp the whale to punch out. This does have a coordinating punch. You could easily hand cut this, especially the way I'm making this card, if you wanted to. Whoops, almost dropped that. Or you can go ahead and punch it out and make that fussy cutting just super quick and easy for you. There we go. So we have a whale. And then on another scrap here, let's go ahead and stamp the turtle. Now, unfortunately, the turtle, we have to fussy cut. So I'm just grabbing my paper snips. And we'll cut him real quick here. There we go. So you can see it was real easy to cut out. So even if you don't want the punch, you could really do that whale just as easily. Okay, let's go to this one and make our smaller card first. And I just have a piece of Bermuda Bay that we're going to layer this onto. You got to use Bermuda Bay when you're doing a underwater scene. Okay, make it all Caribbean-y, we'll call it. Now, that slid, didn't it? Let's pick that back up. That there is exactly why I like the liquid adhesive, because you can slide it around or you can pick it up before it sets. But once it's completely dry, you can't do that. It holds really well. Now, quick peek at our card again that we're copying. And you'll notice, and I think you can see this, See, it looks like a vellum circle underneath the whale, just to give it a little bit more dimension, I guess we'll call it. So I did take some vellum and I cut it out with my layering circle die, and we're gonna just lay it right there, and then we can take our dimensionals and stick our whale on top of it. Actually, we'll put just a little bit of adhesive. This adhesive, when it dries, will probably show through because I put kind of a big blob there. Although it probably won't even show because of the background. But because I'm going to put a whale over it anyway, I wasn't really that worried. So let's go ahead and we're just going to stick our whale on there. Isn't he cute? And then one other piece we need for this one is our little greeting that says "Whale Done." And we're going to carry out that Bermuda Bay. Actually, I'm going to stamp this upside down. When I stamp my greetings on scrap paper, I like to stamp them right at an edge. And that whale just made a perfect line to be able to easily do that. And then we'll grab our cutter and we're just going to trim it. I like to always, let's see, that light makes it funny here. I like to always just stamp on scrap paper and then trim it. I think it's a lot easier than trying to cut a little piece and then stamp right in the middle. This allows me to get those edges really close to it like so. And then we can set that aside and we'll stick this on our card as well. And then we can put the turtle together. So let's stick those. And when I'm all done here, we'll bring that catalog back again and just show you how this one looks so similar to our other one. So we'll kind of overlap the whale just a little bit, but there is that piece. And then on our turtle one, I have a couple other pieces here that we're going to add on here. But first, on the Granny Apple Green, we are going to stamp our greeting, hoping all your birthday fishes come true. So we'll stamp that right on there, and we're going to glue these two together. At this point, I'm just putting this card together. So I think this one's 3/4 of an inch, and then my blue is 1 inch. So there's plenty of room there. Now to put this together, this is gonna go on top of there. But first, because hope all your birthday fishes come true, we need some fish. So let's take our little school of fish here, and we're gonna stamp this all over, mostly the top. Put lots of fishes on here. Aren't these cute? Like the fishies. Let's see, one more. There, we'll call that good right there. And then we can take some more dimensionals and we'll stick this piece up. So you can see this card's going together really quick. And remember, all these measurements, I'll have these for you over on the website on that blog post. Stick that there. And then our little turtle, because he's just cute, right? And he's gonna go, let's see, we'll put him right there. This one, we're gonna go ahead and layer it over some of that, what color was it? I forget, Misty Moonlight, which is the same color that the turtle was. So that kind of pulls that color out. Okay, there is the front of both of ours. And we're ready now to put these onto a card base. So we're gonna make a little bit more of our background. I have Balmy Blue here. And we could go ahead and stick that right on there, but I feel like it's just so flat. We need a little bit of texture. So let's get the right color here, our blob stamp again. And you know what? This is getting pretty dirty there. And this time, I'm only going to stamp it off once rather than twice because this one, you know, our cardstock is darker to start with. So we need to see a little bit more of that texture on there. Let's see, all I'm doing is filling it in here. Super easy, but look at how much better this looks now that we've got some texture and some dimension going back there. So let's grab the dimensionals again. You know, you can never not put enough of these on. Whoops. So pretty big layer here. So I think we'll use a good 6 of them. And then we are just about done with this card. And then we'll finish up the other one. Then we're going to come back to both and put just a little bit of bling on them because we like that as well. So there is that one. And then let's take number 2 here and we'll do our background the same way. Scrap paper first. Got to get in that rhythm there. You don't want to, let's see, you know, and if you overlap here, it's okay. Oops, I did twice on that one. Okay, almost done. Don't think too much about this. If you try to, you know, perfectly place it, it's not very random, right? And then this piece and our dimensionals on this one, we are just about there. And then we'll add the bling and I'll show you the insides. I'm hoping you're picking up some tips here. Number 1, on making backgrounds, but most importantly, use resources like old catalogs for stamping ideas, especially if you have some of the older stamp sets that have been around for a long time. You're going to find ideas in every single catalog. In color jewels. These are just one of the embellishments on the regular catalog. And we got to add a little bling here. So I like to use the take your pick tool to pick that up. So let's put a large one and a small one. So these look like the little, you know, bubbles coming out from our whale. And then I thought this one needs some bling as well, doesn't it? We don't want our fishies to be boring. So let's go ahead and take a couple of these. We're just going to kind of randomly place these. And let's see, let's stick one right down there. There we go. There are our 2 well done cards. Now let me show you the 2 that I made earlier because these I did finish the inside. Our video is going to be long enough here, so I figured I don't need to show you how to stamp this, but I just added the inside. And you can see I did a little bit of that blob on the bottom. Okay, didn't want it all the way up because we need room to write a message. There is that one, and then that one with the little seahorse. No, I didn't put seahorse there. I put him on that one. Isn't he cute? So there you go. Now let's go back to our catalog. Move these here, and you can see here's our first card, and see the comparison there? We made it a full-size card, but very similar. I used that as total inspiration and idea for this card. And then the same for the turtle card. You can see here, I copied that idea. And again, just made it into a larger card and made my own background paper. So I hope this video was helpful to you. Don't forget, I'll have all the supplies I used and measurements and all the information on that blog post. Link will be down in the video description. And if you'd like to order this adorable, well done stamp set, you can do that over there as well. Make sure to reach out to me. Leave me a comment, send me an email if I can help you in any way, or if you have questions at all about today's projects. It was fun sharing with you today, and I'll be back again real soon sharing more quick and easy card making ideas. Have a stamp happy day.